All right. Your mama is here. How's everything? Good? Yes. Okay. How are you?
Good, thank you, Master.
Still working as a doctor, yeah?
Yes.
You did not retire yet?
No, I'm working full time now.
How come?
The kids are about to go to college and that sort of thing.
They are growing up, hey? You don't look any older. Say hello, Hamid. Hello to everybody. Hello. This is Hamid, the blue eyes. Yeah. Hey, that's good boy. Good boy. Okay, keep my feet warm then. Thank you. This is for the people, you know. We love. Yeah? Okay. Okay, enjoy Hamid. He's a very shy one. Normally, if he's goody, happy, they would jump all over, but this guy, he just stick around me. Huh? Go say hello now, good boy? Okay. Oh, you like her, huh? It's cool. It's good. You learn to be friendly, which is good. Now, we are reading some of the Taoist tale. Chang Bo Tuấn was very interested in Buddhism and Taoism. Even when he was a child, he read any book he could get. But his favorite texts were those on meditation and the art of longevity. He's not attracted to governmental office or any of those that making money, like business or any position in society. So now he went to a mountain called Thiên Mountain to study meditation with a Buddhist monk instead. When he was about 60 years old, Chang Po Tuấn met a Taoist from Sichuan by the name of Liu Haizhang and began to practice the Taoist techniques of cultivating body and mind. Whoa, just like you guys sitting here cultivating body and mind. We keep reading it first, huh? And then we can try to expound it later. Po Tuấn had a friend who was a Zen Buddhist. The two men often met to meditate together and discuss Buddhist and Taoist philosophy. One day the friend, whose Buddhist name was Ting, went to Po Tuấn retreat and said to him, "Oh, I have mastered the technique of spirit travel." You know what that means, right? Astral projection, huh? Okay, I explain later. So I have mastered the technique of spirit travel. When I enter meditative stillness, I can send my spirit anywhere I want. Ah, that's different. I'm all excited, I want to tell already. Po Tuấn proposed, "Okay, shall we travel somewhere together today?" And Ting said, "My pleasure." So asked Po Tuấn to Ting, "Where shall we go then?" And his friend said, "Oh, we can go to the gardens in Yang County if you like, because I have heard that the flowers there are very beautiful. And they bloom, in full this time of the year." So they both sit on their meditation cushions or meditation chairs, the way you do, close their eyes and send their spirits to the flower gardens of Yang County. When Po Tuấn arrived, he found his friend already sitting on a bench. Ting told Potun, "I've already walked around the garden 3 times and you just came?" So Potun only said, "Why don't we each take a flower back as a souvenir?" So Ting nodded. Then the friends walked through the garden and each plucked a flower. Back in Potun's place, the 2 men opened their eyes again and stretched their legs. Potun asked his friend, "Where is your flower?" So Ting could not find it. So Potun then reached into his sleeve and brought out a beautiful chrysanthemum. At first, Ting was disappointed, but then he laughed and said to Potun, "I'm glad that you were able to bring back a flower. At least one of us did." So Potun gave the flower to his friend and said to him, "I know you appreciate flowers very much. Take this one home in memory of the good time we had today." Later, when Ting had left, Potun's student asked him, "Why couldn't Ting bring back a flower just like you did?" So Potun replied to his students, saying that Ting cultivated his mind only. Therefore, when he entered stillness, he could liberate only his spirit. As a result, the entire journey was in his mind only. On the other hand, I cultivate both mind and body. So when my spirit travels, it can take on corporal form and influence reality. That's why I could bring back a flower and he could not. When Chang Potun was about to enter the spiritual realm, he called his students together and said, "After I have gone, you should cremate my body." At 99 years of age, he sent his spirit into the immortal realm. After the student cremated his body, they found among the ashes thousands of tiny fragments of bones that glow with a golden hue. This is what the Buddhists call relic, huh? This is a master who lived between 960 and 1270 CE. He's one of the greatest exponents of the Southern Complete Reality School and is the author of the famous internal alchemical classic, Wu Cheng Pian, mean understanding the reality. Anybody travel like that recently? How about that? Any of you cultivated this? No? It is an art that has been lost. Maybe some people still can do that, but some cannot. Remember the master of Yogananda? After he went to the astral world to be a teacher there, not that his level is astral level, but he's appointed as a teacher in the astral level after he has left this physical one. So he come back to life in the flesh to give Yogananda a touch. And he was very happy. But I told you also that astral beings can always manifest themselves in the flesh even, and come back to this world for a while, yeah? There were different times for different levels of being who can manifest themselves into this physical world. Depends from which level you come from, you can stay how long. And also depends on how meritorious you are, even as astral beings. There are those who have a lot of merit, there are beings who have not too many. Even just a normal ghost, some of them have more power than others. The one who has more power can manifest himself truly in the physical body and can even throw tantrum. If you go into his haunted house, yeah, he sometimes throw cups on the floor and breaking mirrors, all that stuff to scare you and tell you to get out, you know. Sometimes tickle your toes. They're kind of possessive, you know. They think that house belongs to them. That's why they don't want to get out. And anybody who come in, they think they invaded their house. Until they are free from the ghost existence, they will continue to believe that they are living in the physical body even. Now, let's check it out. So, this man has not been interested at all in worldly position as well as gain. So he went to study both with the Taoist and the Buddhist. He has been studying with a Buddhist monk. Okay, so at that time the Buddhist monk that he studied with obviously has transcendental power. That's why he could meditate and leave his body and go in the spirit, yeah? And later, at 60 years old, he met a Taoist from Sichuan, Liu Hai Chan. And then he practiced the technique of cultivating body and mind as well. The soul, he can cultivate with a Buddhist monk, but the body and the mind, he probably cultivated with this Taoist. Therefore, he could leave his body in some places, and then he travel in another places, and then even take also his material cells with him, so that over there he can actually pluck the flowers, you know, physically. He doesn't have to take the whole body. That's why his student probably still can see him sitting there or in his room or whatever. I think there are one or two people in the world still can do that. Maybe in China and Russia. Surprised? Yeah. In Russia there is a lady who is not eating anything at all right now. Not eating, not drinking. Sometimes we expect, you know, like some phenomenal person would live maybe in India or Tibet or something, you know, but it's not always. It's not always, yeah? We expect enlightened master live in some temple, yeah, or some saintly person, a saintly priest live in church. Now, for a person who is not interested in fame and gain in this world, he is already half saint, I think. I mean, truly not interested. And not lazy, you know. It's different. And it's not only uninterested in the material gain, but there's another aspect to it. Like this person, why not interested in money and gain, you know? For what reason? Okay? It's not just like, okay, he's lazy, he don't want to earn money, or he doesn't know how to count money, so he's not interested. Or maybe he has too much money, like inheritance, yeah, from parents, so he doesn't care. The reason you forsake money or fame is important. It's not the action alone, yeah? Now, for a person who is not interested in fame and gain in this world, he is already half saint, I think. The reason you forsake money or fame is important. It's not the action alone, yeah? Yeah, if you just forsake the money and name and just don't do nothing with your life, then it is a waste of a life, yeah? You waste the food of the world, especially in this time of food shortage, yeah? So, this guy, why he was uninterested? Tell me.
He had something better.
Like what?
His meditation practice.
At that time, not yet. He forsake, worldly gain and fame to have time to go and study with masters in different schools. So he went to study with a Buddhist monk who obviously was enlightened because he stayed with him until he's 60 years old. And then he met a Taoist who also teach him another thing, body and mind. Because as you know, the Chinese people, most of them in the old time are Buddhist. And at one time Buddhist was the Chinese kind of national religion, Nowadays many countries still have national religion, Like in Arabian country they have Islam. In the Western countries they have Christianity. Baha'i, of course, Baha'i is a universal. That when the Masters was alive, is comprised of all kind of religion. Just like what we are now, whoever you are, you come, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, whatever. We don't discriminate, The real Master never discriminate. So Baha'ism was like that. Because the Master was enlightened. The Baha'is Master was enlightened. Therefore, the teaching of his is just universal. It's just like any real master teaching. The same with the true Islam, true Christian, or true Buddhist, true Hinduism. Any religion believe that God is loving and kind, right? That's why they always pray to Him, help me, grace me, bless me, protect me, If a person who is not kind and loving, how he protect you? How would he care, to bless you? How would he care to grace your life or anything? So even if any religious scripture or the religious believer doesn't say that God is love even, but it's implied, that God is a loving person, very protective, very kind. That's why we pray to him or her. Because if it's not kind, how you care to pray to them? If a person or a being is not loving, how would you even think to pray to that being, right? So God obviously is love. So how can a person who embodies love teach anyone to kill anyone else? It's also his children, or even encourage that, or even tolerate it, or even bear it. We were in heaven talking about God, Let's go back to earth again. Now, the Zen Buddhist friend of his, Ting, also has the ability to free himself from the body. Do you remember reading the story about Kabir? Kabir, after he died, he seemed to take his body with him too. Because Hindu and the Muslim were fighting with each other, saying whose denomination the master should belong to and must belong to. And they fight over his body. They believe he's Muslim because he teaches also Muslim teaching, maybe referring to Muslim teacher of the past when he have a Muslim disciple, and when the Hindu disciple come, then he talk about Hinduism and the past master and Vishnu and Brahma and all that, or maybe celebrate also with the Hindu in the Hindu way, and when he is with the Muslim, then he celebrate with the Muslim in the Muslim way. So both believed that he belong to them alone. It's possible. So after Kabir died, Muslim and Hindu fight with each other who will take the body to where. So then after discussion for a long time, the body still lay in the coffin waiting. Until next morning, when they decided both to come there to debate about who will take the coffin home. The master body. And then they open the coffin, they see nothing in there. He only saw one rose in the coffin. The body is gone, just one rose. the symbol of love, unification. Love is only one. There's no Muslim, there's no Hindu. The Master wanted to leave the message like that. It could be that the Master took his body with him. It could be that some wise, very enlightened disciples had taken the body with him while everybody was debating and not looking. So he just take it away, worrying that the Muslim or the Hindu or both, they would chop his Master body into two parts. After all, and decided, okay, you the left, I the right. Yeah, then that would be disaster. It would be terrible. Because it's not like the Muslim or the Hindu have enmity with each other. But it could be that they can be in the conflict, They could even chop a Master body into two, divide it in two halves so that each one take one, end the discussion. That is one thing. Because maybe not all of the Master have been highly enlightened. You see, in any spiritual practicing group, there are some are highly elevated spiritually, some are still nowhere. And mostly the ones who are not very enlightened are the loudest mouth. Ego. I know everything. Master would want this. Master is mine. Because if you are truly enlightened, you don't have this kind of attitude. Yeah? You don't. You just do what the Master said anyway. It's not that if you are initiated by even the highest Master, you will be immediately all enlightened. Even if you are all enlightened at the time of initiation, you will lose somehow some degree of it as the time goes by, because life take over again after you get out of the meditation room. Your ego control again, Any moment you forget God, any moment you forget your real self, the ego come in and pose himself as you and make trouble for you and tell you all kind of things, because you have a lot of habit which you love to keep. Yes. Even just to put out a piece of meat is very troublesome for many people. Because many people, any age, not just now, understood the Master teaching. But they don't practice because they cannot leave that meat alone. They cannot leave alcohol, they cannot leave cigarette, for example, like that. And above all, they cannot leave their ego. They think they know everything there is to know already, for example, and that they are a very, very good, devout disciple of God. They go to the temple, they go to church, they think that's enough. So many reasons why people who come to the lecture agree with the Master, but will not follow. Most of the time is the eating habit, To satisfy the palate, we do many things. We even kill, Mostly just for food, for security of material comfort. And food is very important to many people. And they do anything for it. That is the problem. Ego is the worst enemy of humankind. Luckily, the animals, mostly they don't have it. Most animals don't have it. Even the vicious animals, they don't have ego. They just have, that kind of animal instinct. They do what they do. That's it. But they don't have ego. If you see two male animals fighting with each other, mostly it's just in season, because of the heat. That's it. But they're not really trying to prove anything. But in a group, of course, sometimes they had to fight to know who's the strongest, and then they elect as the president of the animal group. And that's it, and they take care of each other. They don't make their pack member go out and earn money and pay taxes for them, or build a good house for them or anything like that. They do take care of their pack member. They have one leader and everybody listen to that leader. So for example, a pack of wolf, you see, there's one alpha. And if the omega would try to go near while he has not finished his meal or is not allowed, then he growl at him. But that's about it, and the omega knows, just duck away and not making much trouble. Because in a pack, like even a dog or wolf, the leader eats first. It is the rule like that. And then afterward, all members eat, also according to rank. The thing is, they also organize themselves. Like dogs, for example, why the leader has to eat first? So that he has the strength and ready to take care of the whole group whenever necessary. If any of the member die, of course they will be sad, they will be very sorrowful. But if a leader die, then nobody lead the pack. Protect the pack and lead the pack. The pack leader must be strong, intelligent, and dedicated. Therefore, when they chose a leader, they of course take care of the leader. Privilege. It makes sense, no? For example, if they are eating and then suddenly there is some danger come, and the leader is already full, and strong. So he can lead the pack quickly out of there, and he's strong because he has been eaten and fed and well. But even if the member of the group has not been filled yet, they still can follow the leader first and maybe eat somewhere else later. But if the leader is weak, starved, hungry, and then therefore his mind also not alert enough, then he cannot lead the pack out of danger, and take care of them. Therefore, in the animal kingdom, everything is logical. It's not ego at all. It's not about ego. It's a logic and the survival necessity. This research just show you that animals are really intelligent, very well organized, and very cooperative with each other. If we humans can do that at all times, then we will have no trouble at all. But in our human society, it's not always that good, is it? Even if you elect a president, you don't always give him all the respect and all the cooperation necessary. That is a sad thing. Even if the president is of the opposite party, we should give him respect and cooperative, and also feedback and all that. Help him, not always agreeing to everything, but at least give him respect and power to work and authorization. Due respect, at least. It has nothing to do with politics even. You should treat another human with respect. So being a group leader of human is not as good as being a leader of a wolf pack or a dog pack or even a bird flock, because they respect their leaders and they work together. You see, when the bird flock fly together, they coordinate, They fly in formation as to benefit the whole group, They are really scientific-minded and very, very coordinate with each other for the whole group's survival. In a human group, this is difficult, Everybody wants to be a leader, but nobody wants to be led. Even if you don't know how to lead, you also want to be a leader. Leader is top. Just want to be at the top, that's it. Yes. But birds, they really cooperate so that they can survive together. The pack always go together and always in order. And this is something that we humans must also learn a little bit from the animal. Well, let's go back to the Zen Buddhist monk. Maybe he's not monk, he's just a person. He studies Zen Buddhism and he probably meditates a lot. So he went there to see his friend, who is now also probably practicing Taoist way of life. Either way is okay, Taoist or Buddhist. As long as you practice well, then you can free your spirit from the shackle of this physical prison. And then you can go anywhere you want. You could go to heaven, of course. Yes, that we would prefer. I would prefer than spending time and go to a garden and pluck the flower and come back to show that you've been there. It's also fun, perhaps. But would you exchange that for going to heaven?
No.
These kind are astral magical power. You practice well, you can do that. Yes, you can walk on water. Yes, you can disappear into the wall and come out the other end again. You can do all kinds of things. Yes, but it's not necessary. Yes, to have those in order to be liberated in one lifetime, or to go to a higher level. To go to the higher level, in fact, we have to forsake all this. Otherwise, we enjoy it too much. We like it. So much freedom in the physical realm. It feels fun, Imagine, sit here and just suddenly disappear into the ground and gone out to somewhere else, a few minutes later, scaring everybody, and then suddenly come back again, just appear from nowhere. Or flying in the air, or, changing yourself into a cat or dog or whatever shape. So a Zen Buddhist who has practiced obviously many long years in order to disappear and go to the garden far away. Yes. So now one has mastered the art of going there, so he went so fast that the second person lagged a little bit behind. He said, I already walked around the garden 3 times. That is another piece of ego cheesecake. Yes. In the beginning, he already demonstrates some ego. He come to see his friend, and to discuss Buddhism and Taoism. Instead, he said, I have mastered the art of astral projection. That's what we call it now in the modern time. Astral projection means you can go in your astral body, and go somewhere else and come back. Immediately he boasted like that to his friend, thinking that the other one cannot do it. He couldn't imagine his friend also can. So they both agreed to go, fine. And then, over there, he demonstrated his ego again. He didn't even wait for his friend. He went so fast. Not only he sat there already, he had to tell him that he has walked around the garden 3 times. Oh, what for saying that? 1 time would be enough, don't you think? Now, this guy, he went 3 times. For what reason?
To show off.
So, first of all, he went to show off in the temple, to see his friend. Not genuinely come to see a friend because you miss him, but come to show off his achievement, of astral projection. And then now, since his friend also knows the art of traveling in spirit, he feels a little bit put off. So he has to use all his mind to run fast. And in the garden, run 3 times again, so that at least he's something better. The first one, the Potun, was just sitting in his temple, teaching his disciples, and minding his own business, right? He didn't even call his friend by phone or email him, tell him, please come here, and let's go to a garden together. He probably did not say anything yet, until his friend asked him, can you? Then he said, okay, I can. And what for you see the flowers? Now I don't even want to pluck any flowers. I don't even want to pluck vegetable. I don't want to pluck anything at all. Because number one, you don't need to do that. You let them live, Number 2, you're not interested. Even if you say, okay, Master, there are new flower garden, with more flowers, variety that we have never seen before, and tell me to go, I also don't bother to go. Okay, the first one comes and show off. I can travel in spirit. Since the friend also can, he feel a little bit disappointed, so he has to run around the garden 3 times to show that, okay, I'm better. I arrive first anyway. Probably the other Zen monk, oh, never mind, you know. You go to garden, why hurry, you know. The Zen monk can pluck the flower truly and take it home, and the other guys cannot. So who has the last laugh? Huh? The Buddhist Taoist monk. Look at the two of them. Competing in magical power. Such a children play like that. After he said to him that I have walked around the garden 3 times. Bolton said to his friend, okay, why don't we pluck some flowers to bring home? Because he knows. The first guy wants to show his speed. Waiting, you know, the one who went first to the garden. So the Buddhist Taoist Bolton knows the other guys cannot pluck the flower and bring home. So he said, why don't we pluck the flowers? Yes. Yeah, both want to show who's the best. And of course the Buddhist Taoist had the last laugh then. But what for? They are very funny. He knows it immediately. Therefore, after they arrived back at the Bolton's quarter, the Buddhist Taoist quarter, immediately asked the Buddhist, where is your flower? You can smell the E. The E that did not go yet. The E that still go around and stick to the person. So of course he knew already that the Zen Buddhist cannot find it, yeah, because he knew already that he's only trouble in the mind, but not in the physical dimension as well, not the physical cells as well. So I said, where's your flower? Where is my flower? I don't have. So of course now he can laugh, and he took out from his sleeve a beautiful chrysanthemum from that garden and presented to his friend. Nicely and politely even. Yeah. I know you love flowers. So take this home for a souvenir. You see, they both are similar. Huh? When his friend told him that he has been here long ago and walked around the garden 3 times already, the Bolton or the Buddhist Taoist also doesn't say anything, you know. Doesn't even say, oh, you are better than me, oh, okay, I haven't mastered anything. And the same with when the Bolton showed the flower, he also didn't say anything, oh, you are really good and I have to learn that, and no. Both of them keep quiet. Just try to do another trick to get even. Take this home as a memory of our good time today. How can a man who has ego so much still feel that it was a good time when he cannot take back a flower? And now he has to take home the evidence of his loser position. Imagine, practice spiritual and still like that. Sarcasm, competitiveness, but nevertheless, this story is a very interesting story. To let you know that there are such things, yeah? That you can even overcome gravity, overcome the physical laws in this world, to be something else, to be free. At least go to some garden and pluck a flower. That's already very good, right? How many people can do that? Not to talk about that we go up to a higher realm, you know, in a spiritual dimension. That's even harder, of course. So later, of course, he explained Bolton, you know, in all splendor, you know. Of course, his student would ask, you know, and of course he would be too happy to And so he was just too happy to answer, but casually, like, oh, we think he couldn't do it because he only cultivated his mind. Oh, and the student, of course, has the opportunity to praise his master. And of course, he enjoyed that very much, Potun. Because even in those times, maybe even more so in those times, if anyone who mastered the art of this astral projection, going through long distance in no time and come back without any transportation needed, that is somebody to be revered, even like God, or at least the immortal, they call them, the great master. So even then already something very, very phenomenal. But the master beated him, won over the battle. Then of course the student will feel much more awed. So Potun has mastered the art to travel with the spirit as well as the corporal form, to go together. So it's a little different, Some people can also travel very fast with the body, They just step in on blade of grass or on air or any little thing. So just to travel very fast, like flying, almost. Maybe that's why he's a little bit slower, because he takes his corporal form, therefore he's slower than the other guy. But when he died, he could not take his body with him. Because when he's about to shed his body and enter immortal abode, he called his students and said that after I die, you should cremate my body. So after all, he couldn't take his body with him. If he could take his body to the garden, why don't just take it anywhere else? Has to cremate the body. But after they cremated his body, they found many relics, Buddhism is very important. That you die, you leave some relics behind. Legend, like Buddha, when he died, he left a lot of relics. Relics is something left over from your body, which look like jewel, like pearl or shining, or some golden color. So we see here that even the master cannot take his body with him. Maybe one of the highest disciple understood the problem, so he took his body away and let him rest in peace somewhere else. Because when the master was alive, he teach peace, right? And harmony between religions and even between men. So why should he, at the stage of nirvana, has to witness such a fight, in front of his coffin? Imagine how illogical, and how defaming for the master. So you can tell that even you follow a master, but if you are not enlightened enough, then you also do a blunderous thing, right? So don't be like those. And if you have magical power, don't bother competing. I say to you, stay away from it, so that we can transcend and go to a higher realm, okay? The master who could take his body to the flower garden could not take it to where? Heaven. That's it. So in order to practice true longevity, we have to enter eternal life, not this kind of live a little longer. Because he practiced here, he went to cultivate meditation and the art of longevity. He was interested in it. So he studied with the Buddhists and the Taoists, both. But he died, like everybody else, at the age of 99.
That's pretty good.
In Japan, they have a lot of women who practice nothing live over 100 years. Now many women they live over 100, you know.